Good morning if you're in West Africa, and good day to wherever you are in any part of the world today. I am Blessing Ingyape, and I welcome you to 30 minutes of Dyslexia with Lesson. And on today's edition, we are looking at No Child is a Lost Cause. And this is something that is very dear to my heart and very passionate to my heart because I believe that the amount of progress you make with any child who has a learning difficulty, who has dyslexia, like it is, like what we're talking about or what we focus on here, is understanding that there are no lost causes. No child is a lost cause. And this is a very important one for me because sometimes we unconsciously tell children or their parents or their kids I lost cause even without knowing it. But we'll have just 30 minutes, so let's go on already. Welcome. Let me, good. My comment is always there to see who is there so I can say hello to you. But to everyone joining us, thank you for being here. So now first, let's start. What is a lost cause? When you say something is a lost cause, what do you mean? If you have any answers for us, please feel free to share your wealth of knowledge with us in the comment section. What is a lost cause? So I was looking at different definitions from different dictionaries and different people, and some of the things I got were this: that a lost cause is a person that can no longer hope to succeed or be changed for the better. Just hear that? A lost cause, somebody that there's no longer hope to succeed, there's no longer hope to get better. The person has come to the end of themselves. Whatever it is that the person is at that point in time, that's what the person will forever be. Wow. Is that even possible? Another definition says that a lost cause is something or someone that has no chance of succeeding. I mean, when I just think of these meanings, I develop goose pimples. I mean, is that even possible? That there is someone on earth or something that has no chance of succeeding. Everyone has a chance to succeed. And it is very terrible when we look at some kids with dyslexia. I mean, some teachers have said this that this one, it cannot work again. School is not for this one. Just declare that child a lost cause. That it is not possible for that child to succeed in a learning environment. The child is a lost cause. The child can never get better. There is no hope. Another one said, a person or a thing that is certain to fail. When you say something is a lost cause or a child is a lost cause, this one, you're saying that this child is certain to fail. Like when your child is writing an exam already, this one, you say this one, you just forget it. This exam, I already know her end. It will be a big failure. You just declare that child a lost cause. No hope, um, failure, they cannot get better. So that's all of the things you're saying when you're saying someone is a lost cause. You're saying that child can never get better. The child has come to the end of themselves. When saying a child is a lost cause, you're saying that child is hopeless. There is no hope. I mean, is that even possible? That there is no hope? Let's not even talk about a child with dyslexia. Is it even possible that there is no hope for a human being? That's not possible. You're saying the person is a failure and not just a failure, but the person is certain to fail. So whatever they do, they are certain to fail. They are a lost cause. Now you can see how, I don't know about you, but these definitions make my body cringe. And I mean, I'm just like, that is not, even if I was not a dyslexia teacher, I would never look at another fellow human being and say they're totally hopeless, they are certain to fail at anything they do, or they can never get better no matter what happens. It is such, how do I put it? No words to describe that. But I just hope you're feeling the same way I'm feeling as I talk about these definitions. Now, why is a child with dyslexia, or for the purpose of other people who are watching and are watching for other kids with other special needs, why is that child not a life cause? Because one, that child has life, and anything that has life grows. Like they say on Twitter, Twitter. Anything that has life grows. Anything that has life can get better. Thank you, Favor Chanson, for joining us. Thank you, Miss Rita. Good morning. Anything that has life grows. Does that child have a life? Is that child breathing? Then they are not a lost cause. Something is hopeless when it is dead. And even with that, dead people are brought back to life. So what are we talking about? Something is hopeless when there is no life. But these kids, they have life. So you can't say they are hopeless. You can say they can never get better. Because as far as something has life, it can always grow. It can always get better. And this is a mindset that we need to have as teachers, not minding the kids we are teaching, either kids with special needs, kids with dyslexia, or neurotypical kids. One, that child is not a lost cause because that child has potentials. Everybody has potentials. Some people, now I'm not even talking about children with dyslexia, I'm talking about uh, individuals generally. Thank you so much, Mrs. Monfia, for joining us this morning. Every person has a potential embedded in them. Now, I'm not even just talking about children with dyslexia, every individual. The difference is that some people never tap into the potentials that they have, while others do. There are other people who can do this dyslexia thing in quotes more than me. But somehow, wherever they are, they have not tapped into the potentials that God has embedded in them inside. There is a passion, there's a fire that is there, but they've not been able to tap into it and bring it out. So how much more for children with learning issues? There is something in them because they are human beings, and like I just said, every human being has potentials, and this is just not me. This is research based. Or are we excluding children with dyslexia? They are no longer human beings. Well, if they are human beings, then it means they have potentials too. So they are not lost causes. And then a future. Everyone has a future. And if you know me for a while, you know I'm a person of faith. And my faith tells me that the future that God has for me is a future that is good and not a future that is bad and not a future that is evil. And I work with that same knowledge in my classroom, understanding that the God who has created these kids has a future for them. And that future is not a bad one. That future is a good one. And I am so honored to be a part of that future because I am there to bring out that good future that God has for them. It's like I'm a partner with God. I'm working with God. God is like, I have this child. The plans I have for this child are of good and not of evil. Let's work together and let's bring out this good. So it is such an honor. I see myself in the classroom partnering with God to birth that beautiful picture, that good future that God has for these children. So remember that no child is a lost cause because one, they have life. And anything that has life grows. No child is a lost cause because every individual, every human being has potentials. And that does not exclude a child who is having difficulties in learning. They have potentials too, and they can learn. Finally, they have a future. And like I said, for me, in my faith, that future is a good future, a good future. Now others might say, oh, we don't know what the future holds. The future might be bad, the future might be terrible. Well, for me, where I am, I know how the future is, and the future is a good one because the person that created me, and I believe that created The child I'm working with too has told us in his word that it is a good future. And that is what our eyes are fixed on. So I step into the class realizing that I'm partnering with the creator of these kids who has said that their future is a good one. So do you get that? If you did, type the three major things I just mentioned, explaining why a child is not a lost cause. One, they have life. Two, they have potentials. And three, they have a future. One, they have life. Two, they have potentials. Three, they have a future. So if you're listening to me and you got that, please put it in the comment section. Life, potential, and the future. Now let me tell you a story. Now these are real life stories. When I started working at Cadet Academy, that was about 6 years ago, and I faced lots of cases. Then I'm like, really? And I used to ask myself that, can this one truly learn? This comes that point where you ask yourself those questions. Can this child truly learn? Thank you, Juliet. Can this child truly learn? There's this particular one that came, he would drill. I mean, he was drooling, all hands in the mouth, and then drooling. Saliva, think of it, everywhere. No speech. I would be looking at you like this. If you're from where I'm from, the state where I'm from, if they see that kind of child, what they see, they'll tell you that is a snake that is in that child. They say that this one is a snake that is in that child. I mean, it truly did look like a lost cause. No speech, drooling, hands in the mouth. You hold the child to stand. Of course, the child could walk, but when the child doesn't want to do anything, you hold the child to stand, the child just goes back and slumps back on the floor. And we're wondering, how do we get to teach this child? How do we get through to this child? I mean, recently, one of my colleagues that I worked with during that period at the Cadet Academy sent their family picture. I was looking for him in the family picture because he didn't look like the child we knew. He was sitting composed, handsome young man. Sadly, I can't share that picture because I don't have their permission, but I wish I could. I could have shared that picture and asked you to choose a child in that picture that have a special need. I bet you'll not be able to know. It took a lot of process. We had to, first of all, you need to work with taking out the hand from the mouth and then replacing it with something else. Okay, gradually. And then after that, you're now working on the drooling. You're trying to find out why the child is drooling. The child drooling from what they are sucking, or it's because their mouth is not well closed. And then you have all of those exercises coming. And then when you're able to sort all of that, and then you can now move to learning. Now, sometimes we say kids are lost causes because we start on the wrong path. Like for us, for that child, the major goal for us for the first few months or even 8 months that he was there was not to learn the letter A, was not to learn the letter B. It was for us to get him ready to learn. That's to ensure that there is no hand in the mouth, to ensure that the child is not drooling, to ensure that the child can sit down at least on their own for a few minutes to learn. And then we moved in and introduced the letters or the numbers that we wanted to teach. Thank you, Happiness. Thank you, thank you, Rita. Thank you, Mrs. Wonfia. I see your comments. No child is a lost cause because they have life, they have potentials, and above, they have a better future ahead. Yes, amen to that. Amen to that. So sometimes you're quick to call a child a lost cause because you're not even taking the right route. Like in our case, we have begun with, we want to teach you numbers, we want to teach you letters, but I've hit a dead wall. We had to start from the basic needs, which is ensuring that the child is ready to sit down and learn. So now there are different ways that we show that kids are a lost cause without even knowing. So you might say that I've never called a child a lost cause. So as I'm here, this mouth, in fact, this is my first time of hearing lost cause. I've never used it. And the thing about the word lost cause is that people show it more than they say it. Lost causes, I'll say that again, are shown more than they are said. So, for instance, your face shows if you think a child is a lost cause or not. And I've seen that a lot in the classroom. I offer lots of classroom support. Maybe a child is trying to lift their hands to answer a question. Just look at the child and do this one. What does he want to tell us now? Please, when we are done with the rest, we'll hear your own. You just declare that child a lost cause. Or like one I saw recently. They were doing spellings in class. So what they were doing is that they will call a word, maybe they will call potential. Everybody will write, and then she'll go around and mark. Then she kept not going to where this student of mine was. And I just sat and I was looking. After about 6 words, the girl raised an alarm that you've not marked my own. And she kept ignoring it. Why? In her mind, you cannot get it. You're a lost cause. That's it. When it comes to this spelling, you are a lost cause. You cannot get it. So you didn't say it, but you have shown it that that child is a lost cause. And I love what Larry said when we're talking on the dyslexia show on dyslexia and poetry. That you should give kids the benefit of doubt. Believe in them. Even if the child has been getting the spellings wrongly all this while, for each time, be hopeful that if I look at your work this time around, I might see something better. And that's what will make you to always look at her work and try to mark it than avoiding it. You're avoiding it, you're saying this one, it's over, you can't get it. But when you mark it, you're hopeful that, okay, you probably got it today. So our faces can betray us, can betray what we're thinking in our heart even before we say it. And one thing with this thing is that when you catch yourself, you correct yourself. I always love to be real. It doesn't mean that there are some times that you're going to, you won't meet kids that challenge your line of thought. Now, I'm able to say this comfortably because of the many kids I've worked with. Now, for some of you, you probably haven't worked with the worst of the worst. So you're quick to think a child is a lost cause, and you'll be wondering that why is it that for blessing is easier. It's easier for me because I've seen this. This 5 years I've worked. I always say I think they always give me the worst kids in my life. Because even when I was at the cadet academy, when a child with a severe learning issue comes, they are waiting for me. I remember during a period like this, we're on holiday, and they called me in January. When are you resuming? No, I said, what's the problem? So there's a child that has resumed, and they are waiting for you to come and take the child. I say, I said, okay, send me the assessment. So she sent the assessment that she had done. I said, oh, okay. So the child knows their color, the child knows their letter. She said, no, that the child does not know anything. They just wrote that one to make the parents hopeful. That what I am coming back to, I'm coming back to zero. The child knows nothing aside from their name. So I should come back. I'm the only one that can handle this case. I don't know where to start from. And then there was this other one. That one was not just that we're starting from zero. The command of English was also terrible. I mean, we had to explain that agogo, this agogo, that's what the North Hausas call clock, right? It's a clock. And this is a bike, not keke. That's how bad it was. Thank God we had someone in the team then who was fluent with Hausa. So we're able to translate, work on the language first. I mean, right now, if that boy is speaking, Rita knows that boy. If that boy is speaking English, and I would just be looking at command of English. You say, wow. So because I've seen these miracles, and that's why I always say that our mission, even as teachers, because I know teachers of children with dyslexia are here, is for you to turn disabilities into gifts. It's just like gold. Why is it that we don't throw gold away? I mean, when you mine gold, it doesn't come in clean. It has to go through a process of refining. And that's how these kids are. Sometimes they come out and they are covered with all of that. But you need to realize that within them is gold. And they need you. They need the parents. Gold and gold, the raw one, goes through lots of processes before it becomes something that they are selling with high amount of money. And this is how these kids are too. And you are there to refine them, to bring out that good part. So if we don't give up on gold, why do we give up on kids? I mean, if someone can dig gold now and see how dirty it is and not throw it away, but take it to the refinery, spend weeks, months refining it to bring it and sell, why are you giving up on a human being if people don't give up on material things? That's a question for you to think about. So face is one of it, and then words. Our words, the words we use betray us if we believe if a child is a lost cause or not. You sit down there, beg. You. Like I've seen things in the classroom, you know, and they were teaching the child, I think it was an assessment for the child to draw a clock. And for me, I find this amusing, you know. And truly, teachers should relax. The boy was to draw a clock. So the boy drew a clock and was numbering them. You know, started from 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He didn't stop. He continued 13, 14, 15. The teacher was mad. What is wrong with you? This is your head. Nothing is inside. Do you have 13 hands? Like, well, these are words. And those are even more powerful because Les Brown says when you speak a negative word to a child, you have to say, for you to push that word out, you need to say another positive word to counter that word for about 7 times. So if I say a child is stupid, for me to pull out that word I just called, I need to affirm over 7 times to the child that they are not stupid. No, you are smart. Okay? You are a great child. I need to affirm it over 7 times for it to have an effect. And sometimes it might not even have an effect because the stupidity word you've used is already ringing in their head, and that's what they believe. And teachers, if you're listening to me, you know, we always talk about children. We always talk about children believing their teachers more than their parents. Like if they bring something home and the mom said, no, this is wrong, the student will be like, no, this is how our teacher taught us. What my teacher taught is the right one. And even the last time when I was at the mall, the mom was having a conversation with the daughter and she said something. The daughter was like, no, that's not what my teacher said. The woman said, so your teacher is right. The girl was like, yes, my teacher is the one that is right. Now, when we look at that, I love that, but it also scares me in quote. What that means is that if I tell my students that they are stupid, no matter how much their parents tell them that they are smart, they're going to always believe what I said the most. And that is such a scary thing. And that's why your words should be guarded. Now, like I say, I always say I'm talking from the point of not a superhuman being, from the point of controlling your emotions. You might feel that way. Sometimes you might feel that truly I have taught this for so long. Why can't you just get it? But those are emotions that you shouldn't voice out. Those are emotions that should be in you and you should control them. Okay. You breathe. You tell yourself that it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's fault. That is why I'm here to help. And that's what works for me. Because truly there are some kids you meet and you're wondering, come on, haven't I taught this thing for so long? What is happening? Then you talk to yourself. That is why they are dyslexic. That is why they have learning issues. And that is why you're there to help. So rather than complaining and using your words to back them, your negative words to back them, talk to yourself. Calm yourself down and then continue. Sometimes you might even need a break and take brain breaks. Sometimes when I give my kids break, they are not the ones that needed it. I'm the one that needed it because I realized that I'm beginning to shout. One of my students say, "You're shouting." I said, "I'm not shouting. Leave me alone." One said, "Miss Blessing, like you're angry. Please don't be angry." I said, "Please allow me to be angry. Being angry is not a crime. Allow me to be angry." So you get to those points where, I mean, it's just getting in here. You need a break. As a teacher, you need to also talk to yourself as a teacher. And that's why you need to be in communities like this, where you're able to talk about what you're feeling, to just let it out. Sometimes I and Miss Doshima, when we meet to talk, we are just letting things out. Oh, this student did like this today. Ah, I almost lost it. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. And we let it out and we start the day afresh again. And then our thoughts as we round up. Our thoughts, and that's why uh you need to attack your thoughts. And that's something I just spoke about. When you're saying, can this child ever learn? At this time around, you're not saying it with your words, so you're saying it in your heart. But it needs to also attack your thoughts and tell yourself that, yes, there are no limits. This child can learn. I am here to help, and I'm going to help. I'm going to look for ways. I'm going to research. I'm going to look for ways to help. Okay. Now, in what ways can you help? So I mentioned that the different ways we sometimes say kids are lost causes without knowing is our faces. So you can write that down. Our faces, our words, and our thoughts. Different ways you say a child is a lost cause without saying this child is a lost cause. Your face, your words, and your thoughts. So as we round up, what should you do instead? Love and believe in that child. Find out what the child likes. You need to love that child. Kids know when you love them. People know when you love them. If you don't love somebody, you won't have the patience to even teach them. So first, ensure that you love these kids. Find out what they like the best. Use those things to teach them. Then communicate with the children as well. So for instance, sometimes when I come to class, I ask my students, would you like to use the screen or you write on the paper for me? You're communicating with them and you're not forcing things through their throats. And then sometimes you might say, I have tried and tried and tried and nothing is working. Sometimes all you need to do is just love these children. I read something down. Where was that? It says you might not be able to teach that child numbers or letters yet, but you can show them that someone cares and someone loves them. So, like we say in Nigeria, if at all, it gets to the worst and it's like it's not working and it's not learning, and you're not able to teach them the letters, the numbers yet, at that point in time, you can show them that someone cares. And that's better than insulting them, than saying negative words. They've not been able to learn yet. But what you can do as a teacher is to show them that you care and that you love them. Do we get value today? Time flies so much when we're having fun, right? Before you know it, 30 minutes is gone. Boom. I want to thank you all for joining me today. And if what we shared here today has touched you and has helped you in a way, has helped your thinking, I would like you to share about it. I would like you to make a post about it. Now, that's something about awareness. Okay, you can always create awareness through social media, through your post. And if you got value here, share what you got from this 30 minutes we just shared and be sure to tag me. Once again, I want to appreciate Favor, Jansen, Rita, Blessing, Warfare, Juliet, Happiness, and Ms. Doshima for being a part of today's session. Our faces, our words, our thoughts can show our perception of the child being a lost cause or not. Very true. Thank you, Mrs. Warfia. And thank you, everyone, for being here. From me to you, bye. Thank you so much, Mrs. Warfia. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. I will see you again next time, this same time, next week, for 30 minutes of dyslexia with an interesting topic. Goodbye.